Are cryptocurrencies property or are they currency? It's a great question, and I wish I was able to give you clear guidance on what the United States government considers them to be, but I can't. And I'm a tax attorney. It's not that I don't know what the rules are. I know the rules probably better than most, but I'm hit with an immediate conflict that I want to share with you. That's a legal term, virtual currency. I'm throwing that term out there for a reason. That's a term that the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN for short, a division of the US Treasury, calls cryptocurrencies. Why? So that it can apply the rules of the Bank Secrecy Act to cryptocurrencies. If FinCEN were to consider cryptocurrencies to be property, the argument would be that the Bank Secrecy Act could not apply and FinCEN would be powerless to regulate. Now consider this, the Bank Secrecy Act was written by Congress in 1970, was signed into law by President Nixon, and it required financial institutions in the United States to assist the U.S. government agencies to detect and prevent money laundering along with other types of financial crimes. Yet Bitcoin was created in 2008. So FinCEN is using a 48-year-old legislation to regulate a modern technology, to regulate cryptocurrency exchanges like banks, even though cryptocurrency exchanges are not banks, not at all. Yet on the other side of the equation, we have the IRS, another division within the United States Treasury. Well, it has announced a completely different rule. It considers virtual currencies to be property. So for the purposes of regulating transactions under the Bank Secrecy Act, FinCEN considers cryptocurrencies to be currency, but on the other hand, cryptocurrency is to be viewed as property for federal tax purposes, and the IRS applies tax principles applicable to property transactions. In other words, the IRS wants to be sure it doesn't miss out on any crypto gains it could tax, and FinCEN wants to regulate cryptocurrencies. Hence, we are left with conflicting rules. The way that the regulation is currently imposed has caused cryptocurrencies to lose some of that utility it was originally intended to have. I don't want to get into whether or not this is a good or a bad thing, but because the exchanges are most of the exchanges are in compliance with the Bank Secrecy Act, the original utility of having an anonymous transaction has kind of been destroyed. And maybe you're okay with that, but maybe you're not. But it is irrefutable that the tax policy is designed to discourage the use of virtual currencies from being used as originally intended, as currency. Consider, in order to be compliant, the cryptocurrency user has to report every transaction he makes. And when you use a currency, that is a transaction. In other words, the cryptocurrency user just can't walk into a cool little hipster coffee shop and use cryptos to buy a cup of coffee without having to calculate the capital gain or loss on the transaction. Now, at first, this might seem like a minor inconvenience, but in reality, in order to do this, the user has to accurately find out what their basis in that particular use of Bitcoin or whatever other crypto was used. This isn't really practical, and it's not nearly as practical as handing cash over to the barista. It's no wonder that certain studies report that 59% of Americans don't report appropriate cryptocurrencies. And I actually think that the lack of the compliance is far, far lower than that. I have a feeling that the figure is much higher, and there's a good reason why we are stuck with rules that just don't make sense. In 2008, the government is applying a limited regulatory structure to cryptocurrency. Nonetheless, the government is applying antiquated regulatory structures to cryptocurrency. It's to be expected, right? The folks working within the United States Treasury are dealing with a brand new technology neither the Bank Secrecy Act or the income tax ever contemplated. Of course, they're not going to come up with a solution that's cohesive. In their defense, even the most astute regulators didn't expect the rapid increase in the valuation of cryptocurrencies. nor did they expect Wall Street to express such an interest in investing and speculating on cryptocurrencies. So now it's the duty of the people, and I really think it is. I think it's the duty of the people in the communities surrounding cryptocurrencies to contact the government, to contact Congress, to make their opinion known, to say, guys, what is going on here? You got two different rules. We have this very difficult puzzle here. The market may need to step in and police itself and drive Congress to take the appropriate action. I think the status quo isn't appropriate. Cryptocurrency managers should anticipate and take the lead on identifying their own risk areas, develop mitigation controls, and even formulate market-wide due diligence process. Otherwise, the government is going to design, or they kind of already have, a regulatory framework that will cripple cryptocurrencies. It will make investing in cryptocurrency impossible and its use as a currency impractical. The government may be undecided about whether cryptocurrency is currency or property, but the government knows one thing for certain. That is, it is looking to catch up on regulatory matters. This leaves me with a lot of questions about the future of cryptocurrencies. For regulatory purposes, should cryptocurrencies be viewed as currency or property? Now, confusing matter is that all currency is technically property, but not all property is currency. But how should a regulatory framework be designed for cryptocurrencies? Should government have any involvement at all? What should we do about the current conflicting interpretations by the two agencies of the US Treasury, FinCEN and the IRS? I hope you leave your comments and opinions below, and I hope you take your actions and share your opinion with your lawmakers. Hey, so thanks for watching. Well, what did you think about this? Do you like this kind of content? Do you want more content on Bitcoin and other kinds of cryptos? There's some other ideas I got. Leave your comments below. And again, thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe.